Do not get tricked by this game. Hello again, I am Blunty, that's Wild Hearts S, releasing on Nintendo Switch 2 within a couple of days of this video going up. The headline here is, I'm warning you not to get tricked by the game, in particular if you are an existing Monster Hunter player. This game might trick you. When I say tricked, I don't mean there's anything underhanded or sneaky going on. In fact, unlike Capcom's legendary series of late, this game has less malarkey and trickery going on. No sign of a DLC store at all for a start. No paid cosmetics, no paid emotes, no stickers, extra music, that kind of crap. It's clean of all that, baby. It's no DLC store at all. Thank goodness for that. Just a full game right there on the install. Isn't that refreshing? Anyway, what I actually mean by warning you not to let this game trick you is more to do with some assumptions, expectations, kind of just automatic mindset, even muscle memory that you might bring in as a Monster Hunter player that will get you in trouble in this game unless you make some adjustments. So I wanted to slap together a little list of things you're going to have to watch out for if you want to get the most out of your time with Wild Hearts S, and I do hope you do give it a go because it is quite a good game. So, let's start with some basics. Unlike the invincible knees and ankles of a Monster Hunter hunters in Wild Hearts can die from fall damage. You have to fall from pretty high up to actually die, and from sort of moderate to fairly high heights, you might just take a little chip damage on your health, maybe some stun time on the ground as you struggle to get up again. So yeah, watch out for those cliffs and ledges, and if you fall into a big puddle of water, and you can get knocked into the water if you're standing near a cliff edge and a monster does a sweep or something, you can get knocked into the water and get KO'd. So be mindful of that. However, not too far into the progression of your skill set, and I'm showing you with some PC footage here because I can't show you on the Switch 2 demo, you will find a kind of spinning glider thing that you can summon in at will. You can use that to very gently traverse huge drops and chasms and whatnot. Also, you'll need to get used to the fact you can jump, by the way. Weird thing to say, I know, and non-Monster Hunter players will be confused by that. What do you mean you can jump in a video game? It's a video game, of course you can jump. But yeah, there is an actual jump button in this game, unlike Monster Hunter, so you are going to have to adjust to that. And it does feel weird at first, I have to admit, after so long of muscle memory in Monster Hunter and not jumping. Yeah, you will need to jump as well. It's not an option, really. Certain weapons will capitalize on new attacks while mid-jump, and you can leap onto the monsters themselves at will, grabbing onto them, climb around on them, and tear out big glowing wounds, which provide a damage burst to the monster and a buff to you. The game is going to explain it specifically for you, but start early on getting used to jumping. Don't ignore it just because Monster Hunter doesn't do it, and thinking, well, I don't need to use it in Monster Hunter, I don't need to use it here. Yes, start thinking about that jump button. On that note, chances are you'll also be wanting to reassign the buttons to a more Monster Hunter-like layout, otherwise it's going to drive you a bit batty. First thing I did when I installed the Switch 2 demo. In particular, you might want to switch A and B and X and Y around. X and Y might be optional because those are the weapon attacks, but A and B are the jump and dodge. And the defaults, well, they feel kind of arse backwards if you've got countless hours of Monster Hunter muscle memory built into your hands, like I do. So yeah, swap those around, put dodge where it should be. Most everything else should be fine. Running, for example, same button as Monster Hunter, just on the shoulder button there. It's good. There's food too. This works broadly the same as Monster Hunter in that you want to eat before basically every hunt, as the buffs provided can get pretty significant and beefy. However, in this game, you'll be managing the preparation yourself, and entirely from gatherables you'll be collecting as you roam the map. So pick up everything as you pass by. Every little plant you can gather, mushrooms and little animals, all that kind of stuff. Or you can just plan for some dedicated gathering time, just to roam a map and gather as much as you can find. But yeah, good advice to make a habit out of gathering everything as you run past it on your way to monsters and between zones and stuff. You can eat most of the stuff raw, but preparing it in various ways increases the power of the buffs significantly. Actually, it's probably easier to show you this one live rather than pre-record my voiceover and then find some footage that's appropriate. So I've got a little camp here. It's a bit messy. It's not laid out properly because I was just digging around in the demo here, but normally you'd want to lay out your stuff a little bit better. So yeah, you've got your ingredients storage here. In this one, I've got my raw ingredients. You can put a bunch of these down and sort things however you like. Unfortunately, you can't really label them. I mean, you do have signs available to you in the Karakuri building thing, so you could put down little signs and label everything if you really wanted to get fussy. But you know, it just makes sense. You know, the raw stuff's over here. The stuff in this one is the stuff I've hooked up already. So, the first thing you'll unlock is these basic drying racks here. So we can just put a bunch of stuff to dry out on there, and you get dried vegetables. So you can see the health boost from the raw vegetable there. There's knotweed, plus 3 health and 1% defense boost. If we just use the dryer, we get plus 9 health and 3% defense boost. It triples its effectiveness. So that's what I'm talking about when I say, yeah, don't sleep on preparing your foods. You can just eat the raw ingredients. You can see a little hunger bar down the bottom there, just underneath my face. It's pretty bad placement, but if we got a couple of things up, you can see the hunger bar filling up. You can see my health going from 60, 75 to 90 there. We've maxed out there. We've got a hunger bar all maxed out. So yeah, that stuff stacks up, but you're going to get way better efficiency if you use your cookie stuff. So the dry ingredients dryer thing comes first. After that, you will unlock the pickling jar. And the pickling jar, you're going to need 2 things. You can stack a bunch of food in there to pickle, as you can see there, but you're also going to need a spice of some kind. I've got some vinegar here, and depending on what spice you use, you'll get a different kind of extra effect. So in the case of vinegar, fatigue alleviation. And you'll grab those spices just by collecting stuff, and if for rewards and a bit like that, you'll come across them in game. You'll figure it out. I'm not going to sort of teach you the entire system here because it runs pretty deep. I just want to give you the basics so you can pay attention to what you're doing here and know that these are important things to unlock early on. Get your food buffs happening. So yeah, a little while after you unlock the pickling, you will eventually unlock smokers. And there are more efficient versions of these as well that do things faster. As you can see, these have got some things smoking already. The timers are ticking down there. And the smoker is just an even more efficient way. So you put your pickled and your dried stuff in the smoker, and it makes it even better. So for example, the smoked spicy meat. So I made the spicy meat using the pickler, using a spicy seasoning and just a meat, of course. Then we smoked it. And so that now gives us plus 12 health, 15% fire boost, and 1% attack boost. The miso meat, again, I pickled that with some miso paste. We saw the vinegar before. Miso is another type of seasoning you can use. This is plus 12 and 5% attack boost. Over here we've just got regular pickled meat. So yeah, you'll figure it out just by sort of trial and error, trying different things, or you can look up a wiki if you really want to get fussy about it, but it's more fun of trial and error. Early game, you're not going to miss out on much because all these ingredients are pretty easy to come across, and you can just go wandering and farm them up. The meat you tend to get from the little animals, like that little rabbit thing down there. You'll get cubed meat from those guys. But yeah, most of the little animals you'll get some kind of meat from if you kill them. Oh, by the way, another hint while we're here. The game tries to teach you this early on in the tutorial. The very first thing you do in the game, go through a little tutorial and it tells you to sneak up on a thing. If you sneak up, you can slay your pet. Those are not the same thing. You will get different items by choosing to do different things. If we pet it... Oh, hello, little birdie. He's going to leave behind. You going to leave behind for me? Ah, there we go. We got some Leoprine fruit, which is a seasoning. But if we slayed it, we could have carved off some meat from it. So you're going to want to pay attention to that. And to figure all that stuff out, you can come to your cyclopedia, which very, very familiar to Monster Hunter players. Same kind of deal. It will tell you, the big monsters, where their weak spots are, what they're weak to, where various parts come from, if you need to break a part to get a part. But also, when you come to the small kimono, you can look at the kind of stuff that they drop as well. So we can have a skin if we kill it, a rodent bud if we pet it. See those little icons there, the sword in the hand, cubed meat if we kill it, and fruit if we pet it. So yeah, if you're wondering how you get certain materials, it's all here you can find. So these are the littlest creatures. These are the teeny tiny stuff. These you don't slay. As you run past them, you can press a button to collect them, just as you would collect something off the ground, like some seeds, some millets or whatnot. And you want to be collecting these because there's a different thing later on in the game where you can actually set these little guys up in cages and they will farm materials for you. Very, very valuable. A little bit like this thing here, which is, again, something you unlock fairly early, as you can see because I've got it in the demo here. But these are little robot guys, and they are collecting core-stone and small crystal ore and other materials like that. And as you get deeper into the game, they will collect more and more rarer materials and things like that. There's a similar system, again, I can't show you in the demo, but you can put those little teeny tiny animals in little pens, little cages, and keep them as pets, and they will deliver you materials on an ongoing basis. So you do want to actually collect those guys as you see them as well. A little deeper in the game, you can even set up a camp near a riverside, and you can set up automatic fisheries. We'll just catch fish for you, just while you're hunting. So you don't have to wander into a river and try and catch them by hand. There's no fishing rod in the game, but you can snatch up fish by hand if you see them as well, just like you can with the other little critters and things. So yeah, what's next? All right, so next, you got this little wooden ball robot buddy thing, the Tsukumo. And on first blush, it might feel quite a lot like a Palico. And indeed, as you upgrade it, it can fight alongside you and distract the monsters. Extremely handy for distraction on solo hunts if you need a little bit of time to heal. It can refill your celestial thread for you to use for summoning gadgets. But don't be fooled. Its upgrades do not just affect itself. So if you don't care about its function in battle, don't forget to upgrade it still. Because upgrading this little guy, for one example, can also continuously increase your own carry capacity for Celestial Thread. Vital as you get deeper into the game, as the super powerful summonable gadgets get more expensive to build. They use more thread more quickly, so you're going to want to have bigger pockets for that. And upgrading these guys is how you do that. I have just spotted from my little camp down there we looked at earlier. There's a little guy up here I hadn't spotted yet. So yeah, you'll find these guys around on the map. And these are how you get the cogs to upgrade your own little ball robot guys. So every one of these you find, you befriend, and they'll give you some old cogs. I've found 31 of 50 of them so far. I've been spending a lot of time in the demo because I'm a little bit addicted to this game already again. It hasn't even launched yet. Yeah, once you find those guys and collect the old cogs, you come over to your camp. Well, I don't have enough cogs right now. I need one more cog before I can do any more upgrades. But as you can see there, I've already upgraded quite a few times. But yeah, seriously, do not sleep on this system. Even if you don't want to rely on the Tsukumo, you don't rely on your Palicos and Monster or whatever. Even if you want to ignore him completely, do not ignore upgrading him, because upgrades affect you as well as him. Oh, and very important, by the way, unlike Monster Hunter, if you're knocked down to 0 HP, you die, you can't, in other words, this game has a team revive system. You're not out instantly. You will have a little grace window, a little ticking timer in the form of a hexagon icon slowly filling with a blue line. Other players can come over and revive you, much like a bunch of other games do, and the more people reviving a single person, the faster it goes, just as you might expect from other similar games with similar systems. The reviving players are locked in place while this happens too, so it's a big risk-reward kind of thing. You might be better off trying to have one person distract the monster while someone else goes and revives, that kind of stuff, you know, team thinking. There is a little grace period as well. If you release a revive to dodge out of the way of the monster, the percentage of healing to a revive will slowly drop down, so it doesn't instantly reset, so you can dodge out of the way and then dodge back and continue the revive. And most hunts do only have 3 or less, what we would call in Monster Hunter circles as carts. So if you can save a cart by reviving a player, absolutely take the risk. If you are the one down, you can hold a button to instantly respawn, but outside of conditions where there's just zero hope at all of being revived by the other players, do not do this. It is considered extremely bad form, and you're going to annoy everybody else to pointlessly burn a life via impatience instead of just sitting there and waiting and hoping that someone gets an opportunity for a revive. Oh, and tied into the system, by the way, if you like playing a healer style build, there are special armor skills to make reviving faster and giving the revived player more health upon a res 2. By standard, it's half health, but there are skills that you can give them full health upon a revive and things like that if you stack into it. And there are gadgets you can summon that produce healing mists and stuff like that, so you can absolutely lean into a support build if that is your jam. What else? You can set up your own tents around the map. These serve as fast travel points. You can put these wherever you like. It's probably smarter to put them somewhere where a monster isn't going to smoosh them. They do automatically rebuild, but it's still smarter to not have them in spots where they're going to get smooshed anyway. But yeah, they function as fast travel and respawn points. So make sure you place 3 or 4 of them spaced smartly on every map, sort of around the circumference and useful areas and whatnot. There's no rides in this game. You are running everywhere. So when you join a multiplayer hunt hosted by someone who has not done this, who hasn't spaced campsites out, you are going to understand why it's so important real fast. Or rather, you're going to understand it real slow because you're going to have a lot of time to think about it as you burn a bunch of time traversing these surprisingly large layered maps on foot. Same goes for preparing zip lines and such to shortcut through big areas or up huge cliffs and things like that. These are persistent. All these persistent ones you put down are going to be available to everyone else who joins you on a multiplayer hunt, and vice versa. Anything you join someone else's world, everything they've put down is going to be on their world as well. And there are some generally accepted spaces to put zip lines and things that people are going to expect them to be in certain places, or springs up cliff sides and things like that. So pay attention as you're joining multiplayer hunts where people put things and if they're useful and if they're smart, and maybe replicate that on their own map as well. Along similar lines, space out these things across your map too. These are like radar thingies. So if I bring up my map right now, you can see nothing is active. I've got a little radar tower down here. That's what they look like on the map. And I've got another one up here. I really should have one sort of here somewhere and one here somewhere ideally, so we get a all-encompassing range on the map. But I can show you default range. If we just give that a little tap, it's going to ping its local area. Oh, I do have some set up apparently. Just can't see them. Yeah, there we go. They're behind my tents. There is a problem with the map system. You have to kind of zoom in to see. Yeah, I've got a tower. Okay, I did set up the towers. I forgot. But usually their detection circle is a bit smaller than this. I've just upgraded it, which you can do through the Karakuri tree. There's an upgrade to increase the range, so I could probably delete some of these towers and save some resources. But yeah, you can see the exact circle in the detection range. So you want to set up 3, 4, maybe 5, depending on the map, and get them nicely overlapped, and they will ping one, and it pings all of them, and it will tell you exactly what's on the map. So there's a Sap Scourge down there. Sap Scourge? Sap Scourge. And these sort of question marks, these are secret things as well. I'm not going to spoil what they are for you, but you're going to want to go get them. Yes, you are. And there are a bunch of secrets on these maps as well. The little cubby holes and things that are hard to get to, climb around and explore. You'll find all kinds of nifty little things. I'm not going to spoil any of them for you, but these maps are dense. Way more dense than most Monster Hunter maps, actually. Even in Rise, where they hit all those little katanas around. This does a similar thing. It's got some katanas as well, linked to other things, and little notes and things. So yeah, there are collectathons on these maps that you're going to go after hunting for, and that can be a lot of fun trying to figure out how to get to certain places. And yeah, I do encourage you to spend your time exploring these maps. Very, very much so. Changing your appearance doesn't cost you special DLC microtransaction tickets like they do in Monster Hunter. It can be done freely and at any time, but you will need to unlock a special craftable mirror to do so because it's done diegetically in the game. It's a mechanic built into the game. And it's pretty deep in the Karakuri unlock tree, so you're not going to unlock it super early on. However, if you have a friend, or like some dude on Discord, or say a streamer, for example, cough cough, and they have unlocked it already, you can join their game and go to their hub, their home city thingy, and use their mirror to change your appearance freely. This is why in my home, on the original version of this game on PC, I sat my mirror outside my home so multiplayer peeps could find it nice and easy, and I was very popular for doing so. And a bunch of people come and use my mirror in the early days of that game. Still on the topic of multiplayer, unlike Monster Hunter, co-op story progression is a thing in this game, and it is super easy. Very, very transparently easy. But it is turned off by default, so hit the main menu, settings, and flip it on if that is important to you. Right underneath it, you can also hit the auto assistance thingy here too. Think of this as an automatic SOS flare. Every time you start a hunt, it's just going to go, hey, open up to multiplayer. People can join and help me out. Let's see what else. Oh, basic hunt etiquette. When a monster is defeated, there is a prompt for a finishing blow. So on multiplayer hunts, it is generally accepted as good form as polite to wait a little bit to give the hunt host a chance for the glory. There is no benefit to doing this, it's just a cool animation. No one gets any more parts or any special points or rewards or anything, so there is no point in trying to hog it. Let the host have their little glory moment, because it is a cool animation. We all love doing it, but yeah, try and give the host the first bite at that cherry. If after a little bit they're not doing it, feel free to go over and take it just to end the hunt. But yeah, try and be nice. Still on multiplayer, you can get to multiplayer via a few different methods. You can search for a specific hunt to join by selecting it from the map. You can use the interface at the campfires that you craft around your campsites and whatnot. And around the maps themselves, there are these little hunters' gates. Interacting with these, when they're glowing blue and swirly, that will let you know you're online and there are active hunts. And these hunts will be specific to the map you are currently on. With the exception of one such hunter gate, which is in the main hub city, that will connect to any map. And selecting hunts from the map, some of these hunts will have 2 or more variations. One will be the base hunt as it was in story mode. Another variation that unlocks after that is completed is for repeating the hunt. This has an extra reward or 2. So keep an eye on which one you're using there. And while low rank and high rank and even master rank and something akin to master rank arc-tempered monsters all have broad equivalencies in this game, just in the base game, Wild Hearts itself starts out feeling probably closer to high rank than low rank. So be prepared for that difficulty curve. You're going to get smacked around pretty early on in this game compared to most Monster Hunter games. Also worth knowing about, if you go to your inventory here, you can see all the sort of monster parts and bits and pieces you've picked up, and ancient lumber and bits of monsters and stuff. All of these ones, rare Kinta seed, sap there, the little pip there, the gold dust, anything with this icon. These are coins. Anything with these coins icons you don't need for crafting. You can sell these. Again, I can't show you because in the demo we can't get to the spot in the game where you meet the merchant who buys the stuff off you, but it happens fairly early on in the game. So yeah, anything with this icon, or these icons, you can... That's the gold dust directly. You can sell these without any worry at all. These have no value at all for any crafting of anything at all in the game. Anything with a coin on it, feel free to sell. Probably don't sell anything else though, unless you know for a fact you're never ever going to need it again, because yeah, the crafting system in this game goes deep, and you never know how much crafting you're going to be doing, really. So yeah, definitely don't sell anything with the other icons on it. Something else worth going over, although the game teaches you about this in a reasonably good way, but it's worth mentioning. To keep an eye out for talismans. You can find these in the world, but you also get them for hunt rewards a little deeper in the game. And a little hint, by the way, those big glowing spots on the monsters you could rip out with the skill called Hunting Arm. If you jump up on the monster and grab and climb over to the big spot and rip it out, every time you do that, you increase your chances to get one of these to drop as a hunt reward. So do not sleep on doing that. Absolutely rip out those glowing spots as often as you can, because the more of those you're about, the higher your chances of getting talismans to drop as RNG rewards during the hunt. And some of these are quite powerful. These are just early game ones that I found on the map. These are hidden around this very map. I think there's a couple more. I don't remember exactly, but I only remembered where 2 of them were. I want to guess one last tip. There's no photo mode, unfortunately, but if you want to use the Switch's own screenshot function and not have the HUD clutter up your pretty shot, if you bring up the menu and then cancel out of it, there is about half a second or so where you can snap a clean pic before the HUD comes back. Anyway, I think that's at least a bunch of important stuff to know going in as a Monster Hunter player specifically to this game. I've probably forgotten some stuff. I know there's at least 1 or 2 things I wanted to mention that have just slid off the top of my broken-ass brain. But subscribe and bell and whatnot. Maybe I'll make a follow-up video if it's quite important. Otherwise, check out the comments and leave a comment if you played the original version and there's something obvious I've forgotten to remind people, especially Monster Hunter players, that they need to know about going into this game so they don't make any... assumptions and screw themselves over. Oh, by the way, feel free to craft whatever you like in the weapon tree. You can uncraft and get your stuff back, by the way. So you can experiment freely and get your materials back if you want to uncraft and go backwards and craft in a different direction. That's the last tip. That's the one. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.